Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, whatever time of day it is when you view this. Looks like we got video and audio, so woo wee, woo wee. Look at everybody in the chat this morning. Ryan West opening the doors as always. Thank you so much, much appreciated. Everybody give Ryan a little nod and a handshake on the way in. Thanks for doing that, buddy. Jason96, what is this indeed? For sure. Good to see ya. Little roll call action. I'm Sean, like role-playing game stream here every Saturday, 8 a.m. Central Time. Talk about things, usually a topic of discussion. It's a good one today. I think it's going to be a good one. I don't know. We'll see. Blake, good to see ya from down under. It's a Rocket Club. Zeal, good to see ya. Keith, no computer games. I'm out. Yeah, well, that's the deal. Shambot, good to see ya again. Saw Shambot little time last night. Living for crits. Look at this guy. James, good to see ya. Welcome. If you aren't familiar with James's work, I think that's the name of your YouTube channel, right, James? Living for Crits. Check it out. He's doing more Shadowdark and BattleTech, I will say, recently, right? Joe, good morning. Good to see ya. There's Ryan. Grumpy, good to see ya. Laramie, been a long time. A whole whopping 10 hours ago. Hoos, morning. Bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. Orcus Dorcas. Only requirement is to ask what hair product Sean uses. Indeed. I'm having a good hair day. Because I got a cut recently. Just saying. Matt, good to see ya. Kristen, good to see ya. Blake, Victor. Gabe Dibbing. Good to see ya, as always. Who am I missing? Am I missing anybody? Aaron? Thanks for posting that on the Discord, buddy. My ear trumpet has been struck by lightning. Made it this time. I think you have the longest handle. Tad, good morning. Woo-hoo! Crits. Max, you and Salzwedel. You have not been introduced, but Salzwedel... Eric Salzwedel from 3D Chicken Coop and our Discord is doing BattleTech as well. Like, you guys are, it's funny, you guys probably don't even know each other, and you are doing the same thing about the same time. So he's delving into BattleTech again and synth. Like, you posted a synth track the other night, and he's getting into synth as well. I'm like, which one am I looking at? He usually doesn't show up here for the live show, but regardless. Tim Jensen, morning. Who else am I looking for? Harrigan? Morning. All right. Michael Gurley. Morning. If you're into BattleTech right now, you're into synthwave. That's the deal. All right. Well, I know there will be more that trickle in. If you would be so kind, before you take off for the day, give me a like on the way out. Just like hit it like it's an off switch on the way out. Never heard that one before. Well, you know. Uh-oh. Your trumpet has been struck by lightning. 1 gift membership. Who is the lucky winner? Thanks for doing that, trumpet. Much appreciated. Thank you. Tim did. There you go. Thanks for gifting it. I appreciate it. All right, so let's get into things. It's going to be an interesting show today. Let's start off with let me see. I got to make sure I got my stuff in order here. Start with crowdfunding. What? Crowdfunding? What's he doing? Yeah, let's go with crowdfunding. Let's see. Crowdfunding. Crowdfunding. Whoops. Not the extra glitch in the matrix there. RPG Party game found partners with Drive-Thru RPG and some publishers. So I thought this was worthy enough for everybody to know about. The program, run in partnership with Drive-Thru RPG, Magpie Games, Chaosium, and Loot Tavern, tends to provide resources, mentorship, and marketing assistance to help creators develop and fund their projects, which are maybe products. Check that out if you will. It's cool. Just something to know about. Next one up on the docket. Let's get to Ian World, shall we? RPG News, Ian World. These are one of the campaigns that are in its last hour. Last week-ish before they wrap up. First one, Lazio's Cubed Crypt from Attention Deficit and Dragons. It's on backer kit. It's pretty cool, right? I bet you can't solve it. Can you speed cube this thing? I'd like to see somebody speed cube this thing. Like, what would they even do? It's cool. That's cool. I like it. First thing, second thing, Exo-Ecology for Monster Hunters 5e Echo Horror Boss Bestiary. You know, if it's got 5e, it's got money. There you go. Funded. 26K, a 10K goal. Next one, Start the Fire. Digital TTRPG anthology from Quasi-Real Publishing. On backer kit. D&D 5th edition Mythcraft is the systems. There you go. Lots of good stuff there. Next one, A Realm Fables Overland map, books, and card deck from Shield Dice Studio. That is funded. 8,700 quid of 6K quid goal. Next one, Session Hero. 50 plus page zine, 500 prompts. Get your next fantasy TTRPG party started. Right? Get your TTRPG started quickly. Wiki. That's what you come here for, folks. That is by Fables and Tables. So RPG zine, 8 quid. That thing is funded. Do you want to build connections between your fantasy characters? Maybe. If you do, check that out. Next one, Providers, a dystopian sandbox for the Mothership RPG. Joshua Kramer. It's an RPG zine. The currency is in Canadian dollars. So that's funded. What is that? 800 Canadian dollar goal. It's at 4,600. So that's solid. If you like Mothership, check that out. You get a colony where the mercantile cult controls all fuel, making them the supreme power in the corner of the universe. Inspired by Blade Runner, Judge Dredd, and others. There you go. Next one, Faces of the City. Faces of the City 5e 2004 Compendium of 100 NPC stat blocks from Dump Stat Adventures. This is 5th edition. $700 goal. It's funded at $1,700. Boom, bam, bang. Crowdfunding. Who else has joined since I last left off? Hobbsy, good to see ya. Where'd he go? My chat is jumping around, which is something I always love and appreciate. Nope. There it is. I thought Brett was taking over. Not yet. I don't know if he's going to be here today. We'll see. Let's get into print news. Let's get into print news. Crank her out. Let's go. You don't get all day, Sean. Thought this was pretty cool. Chaosium, Call Cthulhu, Luke Gyjax, I don't know how to say that name. Alyssa Fadden's Madness at Geneva Lake will be released worldwide at Chaosium UK on May 23rd. I may just get this because it's in my neck of the woods. You know, I could probably relate to some of the things that will be in that scenario. So they'll have print copies, Madness at Geneva Lake, available at the convention. You'll also be able to buy Luke and Alyssa's new Call of Cthulhu scenario in print and PDF at drive-thru on Friday, May 23rd. It's a joint creative venture by Gaxworks and Chaosium to commemorate Chaosium's 50th anniversary. It's a 72-page softcover and premiered at GaryCon earlier this year. Set in 1891 on the snow-dusted shores of Lake Geneva, Wisconsin. This scenario brilliantly weaves a little-known chapter of TSR's history in a tale of cosmic horror. So there you go. If the Wrigley house is not featured, I don't know. I just don't know if I can buy it. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will be. I'm sure it will. It will be. Let's get into Ian World's print news. What's coming? Most of them are probably crowdfunding campaigns that are now being launched to the masses, which are you. First one, Fever Swamp Remastered Deluxe, Smithsonian Arts Council. Hardcover adventure bundle of books, tokens. There you go for OSR. The OSR! House of Cursed Things and Lady Trevant's Bones by Critical Kit. Limited. It's a D&D 2024. D&D 24. Should we just call it D&D 24? Moving forward. I hereby decree D&D 24. Check that out. Next one, Tiny Fables by Josiah Moore. Softcover supplement. Sandbox campaign designed for PCs of any level. 5 adventure sites, each with a map, treasures, encounters, and adventure hooks. I should probably check that out. I like those little, here's something you could just drop in everything. Although it is for Mouse Reader. I should probably play Mouse Reader. Next one, Wilder Feast. Collector's Edition by Horrible Guild. RPG collection. Unique dice pool. Got a lot of things in there. Next one, Worlds at a Glance, Towns and Villages box set. Towns and Villages, Worlds at a Glance DM screen, shop cards, Town Ledger notebook with customizable maps and stickers by Game Master Worlds. That is for D&D 24. See, it's catching on already. Talks about what's in the box. What's in the box? And then last but not least thing, Halfling and Pony Miniatures by Reaper. I mean, it says system, fantasy RPGs like The One Ring. At least it says like The One Ring, not The One Ring. This miniature only to be used in The One Ring. So good for Reaper. They're just giving an example. Like if you are stuck on what you could use that miniature set for, an example would be The One Ring. So I think it looks pretty cool. Pretty cool. I'll put that in the notes, in the chats. Oh, that's print news. Knocking them out. All right, let's see. Print news. What's up? What is up? Should we get into news? RPG news. First one up. We're not coming to Gen Con. Who's not coming to Gen Con, Sean? And should we be worried? Why is this not disappearing? Rowan, Rook, and Descartes. So if you know the team behind that, or that team, I should say, they've decided not to come to. Made a tough decision. We're not bringing any stuff from the UK to Gen Con 2025. Crossing the border into the US isn't safe for us at the moment, and it doesn't appear to be getting safer. Now, some of you may say, well, is this really RPG news? And I would say, I don't know. Maybe, right? It's, if I don't go to Gen Con, it's probably not news. They put out good published products, quality RPGs, and given the state of affairs, it's what I found very unfortunate, because sometimes many of us go to conventions to meet folks, publishers like this. It doesn't say that they won't have product present, I believe. Like, I think they're going to try to ship it over, and that happens, right, when it gets too expensive. Is this going to be a trend? And do you blame them? Oh, come on. Some of us might say, it's not that bad. Give me a break. If there is a sliver of a percentage that you would end up in El Salvador, I would say, I think I'm going to pass this year. So it's just, I think it's newsworthy in that regard. And disappointing to hear, but as far as I'm concerned, completely understandable. So who knows? Keep an eye out for more of this as it develops, I will say, right? Let's see what else is in the RPG news. Are they smuggling something? I don't think they're smuggling anything. So, let's see. Catching up on the chats, if you will. Morning, William. Good to see you. Did I miss anybody that jumped in here late? They're like, what is going on? I already missed the first hour of the show? No, not yet. Not at all. D&D 5.24. Oh, that's a mouthful too. D&D 2024 sounds outdated, yeah. Ryan, spoilers? Jake, good to see you. Morning. John Caldwell, morning. I've just been reading up on One Ring and Lotra 5e a little. Is there a prevailing preference? I think if you were to ask the chat without, most of them will probably say the One Ring. But that's not to say that, frankly, I don't have the 5e versions of some of the Free League stuff. I imagine it's high quality stuff. I think most of the chat plays it native for the most part. But there's nothing wrong with the 5e. It's RPG news for sure. Yeah. Affects the industry, indeed. This is 100% RPG news. Well, there we go. We've declared it as news for Rowan, Rook, and Descartes. Seems many out of USA are making the choice to not attend USA events lately, like Gen Con. I've heard it more and more from folks. I've heard it from, there may be somebody in the chat I know that's not going to come to Gamehole Con because of the current climate. It sucks. It sucks that it comes down to that. It sucks. And, but understandable. Again, it is RPG news and highly relevant. I can't blame them for being concerned for their personal safety. It's already a trend, and no, I don't blame them, for sure. I mean, ICE just arrested the mayor of Newark yesterday. Seriously? Oh, man. I missed that headline. Yeah, my shirt. I just felt like wearing it today. So what? Morning, CJ. Good to see you. So let's get into, there was one news thing I didn't cover yet that I thought was kind of probably newsworthy, if you will. I don't know if many of you are in the loop. You don't know where Brett is either, Mike? Come on. Dude, why do you think I'm here? Let's try to find out where he is. Uh-oh. Okay. Got it. So this thing came up on the radar, which was not so this thing, prepare for an incredible adventure. Crowdfunding soon. Goodman Games is pleased to announce the next installment in the original adventures, reincarnated or known as OAR series. This is like all the old reproduced scenarios, like Keep on the Borderlands, Temple of Elemental Evil. It is, and many of you have probably backed some of those projects and have them. They're huge. They're gorgeous. They're great stuff. It's a massive boxed campaign for five. It's going to be for 5e, a DCC RPG. Yeah. And it's going to be the city-state of the Invincible Overlord, crowdfunding soon. And I saw this and I'm like, oh, okay, great. And this was announced at an event in Indiana where Goodman Games has their warehouse. I don't know if technically it's their corporate headquarters, but I mean, it's where their warehouse is, and they ship all their stuff out directly. And they had a small gathering of people that could go there. And, one of the things that they announced this, they also kind of had a fireside chat, which is always something that Joseph Goodman has done at, as long as I've known Goodman Games. And that's not to say that I've known them their entire history, but going to GaryCon, I don't know, 3 or 4 or something probably 3 or 4. They would have in like a fireside chat. They would have Joseph Goodman, Michael Curtis, Joe Bittman at the time. I mean, back in the day when some of the people that aren't even really working directly for Joseph Goodman would sit in the bar lounge area of the hotel in Lake Geneva and just talk about DCC and some of the things, right? And so they had an event like that recently in Indiana, or they had that take place in Indiana where they would talk about stuff, which is great. Fast forward a few days, and all hell broke loose. So if you're not in the know, the city-state of the Invincible Overlord was produced by Judges Guild, by a couple individuals, and one of those individuals passed away, and Bledsaw, right, Senior, and through that, his son inherited the rights to much of the Judges Guild catalog, including City-State of the Invincible Overlord. And we call him Junior or the second, right? And there, years ago, was it 2000 or 2020? I get my zeros or even years, and you guys probably know this. There was, he had put out things on Facebook. I believe most of the sources look like Facebook posts. Pretty crazy stuff. Holocaust denying, the Confederacy should have won the Civil War. That he's admitted to things being run by a Zionist state, right? It's pretty crazy stuff. So when this came out, and this being associated with this person, you can imagine the fallout that took place, including yours truly. Like I was on, I was on Blue Sky, and I'm like, this is, and I frankly totally forgot about that relationship. And at the time, I should stipulate that Joseph and Goodman Games put out a statement condemning all of that. And it's still out on their website to this day, as far as I know. They haven't removed it. It's still out there saying like, hey, we are an all-inclusive company. It stands against everything and all the principles that we stand for. Joseph takes great pride in wanting to be diverse and provide his game and products to anyone, to everyone, religion, race, creed, color, all that stuff. I mean, the artwork has been like that. They redid DCC RPG Core when they reprinted it to even kind of tweak some of the language and some of the rule books to bring it more up to date, and being conscious of that. And I'm like, why are they doing this? So when it busted loose, people, you can imagine the reaction that had taken place. And it's still going on. There's conversation on it. Our Discord has been pretty good in about discussing it. Because there were a lot of questions like, they're working and they're putting out a product by a Nazi and the Nazi's going to benefit, right? And of course, people like, I'm going to burn my DCC books. You guys were a great company, no longer. Of course, some of that you can imagine. Man, my first reaction was, dudes, this doesn't have to be done. Now, since, they put out the announcement that they were going to do it and all hell broke loose, they put out a written statement. You can find it here actually. And they did an hour-long video. And I said, man, it's just, and some people have commented on my Blue Sky and talked about it. And there's differences of kind of perspective and opinion. Now, if you go to the statement online and read it, and they clarify a few things. The video is like an hour long, and I watched the whole thing. So if you haven't watched the video, like reading the statement's fine. It's kind of like, hey, they admit to making a mistake. They didn't position it correctly. And they explain about some of the nuances of the crowdfunding campaign that's coming about. Part of this moving campaign is it was a crowdfunder that had taken place a few years ago. My camera's gonna. Why is my camera doing that? I thought I locked it down. It's gonna move. So let me just do something quick here. And that crowdfunding campaign never came to fruition. It was about $85,000, and there were a lot of people that got shafted, and that's a long time ago. As a matter of fact, calling out somebody in the chat, Demon Grinder was part of that. And he posted on our Discord, which he doesn't do very often. He chimed in and said, hey, I was part of that. I was one of the members of that crowdfunding campaign that never saw the light of day. And he had mentioned talking to Joseph Goodman at a convention he went to. And Joseph took a keen interest in him not getting his rewards. Like, I want to talk to you about that, right? So it wasn't like, oh, that's sorry, oh, that sucks to hear, sorry about it, right? That's not what Joseph was getting at. And so, and many of us know the DCC company. Some of us have met Joseph. This is, I think, what bothered me the most initially, okay? The first DCC game I ever played was with Michael Curtis. It was at Gary Con. I don't remember what number. I met somebody I am still considered, like, I think I would still consider him a friend today. He's been in the chat, and he was in the game. And I met him, and I've known him for all these years since. I can't remember who else was in that game, but I know he was. And it was the first time I had met him. His name is Nick. I'll just say that. Jen Brinkman, I've met, right? We've had Jen on Gaming and BS podcast. Jen Brinkman handles much of the customer service and order fulfillment at the warehouse for Joseph Goodman in Indiana. And I know her husband, Bob, and a few others, like Doug Kovacs, like got into that. Not like I don't play DCC all the time. I don't have 5 printings of their rule book, but nonetheless, I know some of these folks, good people, right? I think James in the chat, James Walls, I think I might have met you through DCC, honestly, as well. Like, it might have been just a DCC meetup at GaryCon, frankly, because there was a big, huge conglomerate of folks that would go to GaryCon, and DCC had a huge group and big presence. So I talk about Jen because as far as I know, and I'm not making this up, I was in her first convention game that she had ever run, and it was DCC. And I think it was Brandywine Red. I think it was the adventure, if I'm not mistaken. So it's like, it's good, right? It's all that's good stuff. And I think the biggest thing that hit me the hardest personally was that I know all these good people. Everybody, like, they built a awesome community, a great, awesome, huge fan base, all standing for all the right things. Do they probably have somebody who's a jackwagon? For sure. They can't control who plays their game by any means and their own kind of personal outlook on life. But for if you're in the DCC gang, if you will, like Brendan LaSalle, talk to him. Like, they're all great people. But man, when this was like, why, right? Why is this the hill? And, after watching the video, I was kind of like, okay, Joseph poured his heart out. No question. Much respect. And anybody who knows Joseph from like this side, like from here, not, hey, I work for DCC, or I'm, Brendan LaSalle or Michael Curtis, who probably knows him. I know they know him quite like deeper, intimately, right? There's a different relationship there. But for those of us, most of us, we don't really know Joseph Goodman that much. He's been on interview shows, and even then he's pretty conservative with, like, he's not out YouTubing. Like, doesn't make the press junket. He just doesn't. But somehow he's facilitated a great culture, a great company with great products. I don't think there's any argument there. But the question is like, then why do this? Why this thing? And associate yourself with that guy. And in the video, he talked about how he confronted Bledsaw Jr. after that post and was deeply personally affected and touched by that, because he has people in his, like, personal friends and family that fell into some of the things that this guy was spewing really shitty things about. And I know, like, when I read about this and it was put out there, I just knew, like, they would never succumb to that, right? But there is a bit of weirdness in the whole thing, because I know some people that are there that would be like, if it were any other company, they would be on that wagon about burning it to the ground because of this decision. Now, I'm talking about this ad nauseum because of, like, there's many things in the gaming culture piece. And some of us are like, there's plenty of us that are like, man, I just want a game. I just want a game. Keep that crap out of my game, right? Keep whatever that is, crap, politics. Keep politics out of my game. I just want a game. And then there's a camp that says, you can't keep politics out of the game because your game's based on politics and what you think influences the game, right? Not here to debate who's wrong or who's right in that argument. That I find not to be something I want to deal with. There's also folks that are like, you can't stay apolitical in the RPG hobby. And some people try, and then it bites them in the ass. I think through Gaming and BS, everybody knows where Brett and I stood during that show. We put out, Black Lives Matter changing in that whole thing, and underrepresented individuals. Like, I'd like to think that we're progressive. We know who we are, but we are not immune to blind spots. I will say that. And I think that's kind of the deal. And I think many of the folks that have come to listen to the show and subsequently joined our Discord and are here, so, some of you in the chat know that. Some of you may be new and don't know all this. And you know what? You guys may hear this and be like, Dachan was cool, and he's not my jam after this, and you may not come back. I hope that's not the case. But to think that that's not possible would be just ridiculous on my part. So where do we stand with all this Goodman Games stuff? It's, there's people like, that's it. I'm going to burn all my DCC books. Fuck y'all. Have a nice day. And Jim Kitchen was on the stream as well. And I've never met Jim, but I think I followed him back in the Google Plus days because his name sounds so familiar, but I don't think I've ever gamed with him. And Jim kind of played the moderator. I don't remember what Jim's background is, but I do think him and Joseph got together and he was like, hey, dude, let me help you through this and guide you through this. And he did. And Jim, the reason I bring up Jim is because he mentioned reading all of the comments, all of the EN World Forum, all of it. And Jim, if you saw my updates on Blue Sky, hey, thank you, I guess. I don't know. So there are people that are like, okay, they put out a video and they commented on it. Here's one of the things that kind of bums me out about the whole thing is because there will be people that will inevitably be like, yay, screw the woke. You can't appease the woke. Good for you for standing your ground, not caving. And I know that's not the person Joseph's trying to attract. Is this going to garner new followers to DCC? I don't know. Are they going to lose some? I think they're probably more apt to losing some folks that are fans. That's the thing, right? Some people be like, well, it's the loud minority. Don't cave to the loud minority. Well, I guess I'm the loud minority. I don't know. But here's the thing. I don't wish any ill will to Goodman Games. And I should also stipulate. So here's kind of the thing that all kind of transpired, and I haven't looked at the chat yet. Essentially what is occurring is they're going to crowdfund it, and it's going to be a limited print run and limited PDF release. If you don't get it during this crowdfunding campaign, you're not going to get the City State of Invincible Overlord. They say potentially ever. I don't know about that. I'm hoping, that it changes hands somewhere where somebody's a little bit more reasonable, like the actual IP, but then somebody might have to buy it. I don't know. Hopefully it's just inherited down, and then the new inheritor or the new heir that inherits it isn't a raging lunatic, or has the same views, if you will. But I don't even think that's possible, because I think I think there's another Bledsaw that's Bledsaw Jr.'s son is not any better. Anyways, so the way it's going to work is Joseph is going to crowdfund the campaign, and much of the revenue is going to go back to making the original folks that kicked the crowdfunding campaign years ago whole. But he doesn't have any access to that previous campaign. He was not associated with that previous campaign. He is just doing it out of the goodness of his heart, genuinely. From the sounds of it, he has nothing to gain from it. Although one could argue him stepping in and doing it would show such goodwill that maybe those folks that aren't fans of DCC and Goodman Games inherently become fans because Joseph did a good thing. Joseph was a good man and did that. And then there's there's a few things you have to do. Take a screenshot of your pledge, send it to them. They will put you on the list. And as they generate revenue from the crowdfunding campaign, they will reimburse those for refund, or I don't know if there's a product swap, but regardless, some of those details are out there that you can look. So the question is, well, great. What happens when the crowdfund? And they've insisted that there is no revenue that's going to go to Bledsaw. That's so. Actually, that's not entirely true. The revenue off the top is going to go back to the production of this, and then reimbursing those fans. So an $85K Kickstarter, Joseph's talking about like they would have to fund it like $850,000 for this crowdfunding campaign in order for the Bledsaws to see a dime for the most part. Like after everything's done and said, it would have to be a pretty large crowdfunding campaign because they are obligated by contract to pay royalties to Bledsaw and Judges Guild. They just don't have to do it if it all gets absorbed by Goodman Games and reimbursing the previous folks. And if it does do really, really well, and they do end up having to pay royalties to Bledsaw, they are going to donate an equal amount to a charity that Goodman Games decides is worthy of, whether it's towards underrepresented individuals or what have you. That check will be cut, and he's probably gonna be very, 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 very transparent in all this. Like from the video, like he was talking about, tariffs are gonna throw things. He doesn't have numbers to provide right now. The tariffs are throwing him for a loop, which I could totally understand. And then he has asked the Bledsaws to also donate to the charity. He's requested, but that has not been confirmed on whether they said, yeah, we'll do that or not. Now, and that's going to be as far as it goes, because it's not going to go on the shelf into retail. It's not going to go on Drive-Thru RPG for sale so that it would benefit the Bledsaws. Like he's already stated that. That is not what's going to, you're like, we're going to do whatever it takes to not make that happen. He's going to limit the print run, which how many copies can I sell? What will that look like? And prevent that from happening. But it inevitably, I don't think he's going to be able to control how many crowdfunding members, and then it closes down the campaign. So I think the campaign is what it is. And then once it's done, it's done. And it will play out in that type of scenario. The city state of the Invincible Overlord, from what so then why? Some of us are like, why can't they just do a different product and work with just a different publisher, a different IP, create another, like I said, why don't you just do another Purple Planet or, Chained Coffin? Some have said like this has been in the works for years. There's contractual obligations, and I didn't take my notes during the video. But I'm sure there's components of that. But I don't want to speak out of turn about that. So here's the deal. And some people say it doesn't matter because the people that are raising a stink about this aren't going to kick in for it anyway. And I would argue, I don't know about that. I might have, but I don't know if I will. So where does Sean stand? I don't know. Do I have any ill will to Goodman Games at this point? No. Or anybody that works for him? No, not at all. They're all good people. I know some of them quite well. Joseph's video, he had to do it, and putting himself way out there, talking about his personal life, added perspective. And it's weird in our hobby. Like Brett and I would talk about this every once in a while on Gaming and BS, is that it's not like, so some people would say, well, who are we to throw stones in glass houses, right? Like I got an iPhone, I got leather shoes, I buy cheap goods, Some are made in countries that are on, watch lists for, ethics and child labor and all that stuff, right? That's not lost on me. I don't know. But it's different. No, is it? I don't know. Is it different, Sean? I don't know. You kind of sound like a hypocrite. Like you're good with a 7-year-old Indian kid making your Nikes, but this is the hill you're going to die on. And frankly, I'm not dying on this hill. Like if you buy this and you kick in for it, this is going to be a very personal choice. And I don't hold it against anybody who does. Like I don't want it to fail. I just wish, because then I think the main thing is like if this were any other company, I'd be like, oh, whatever. They're making a mistake. And I thought it was a mistake. And I still kind of think it is a mistake. And one of the big reasons is like the thing I've heard, other than maybe the contractual obligations where they've like signed up to do it and it was done before when maybe Senior was alive. I don't know. The timing is kind of fuzzy to me. It just seems like it has to be out there because it's like this thing that, my childhood teetered on this product. Like I was here and then this product came out and it was so impactful to me that I just got to have it. And if I get it, I will just be like in a better place. Now I'm putting that in more hyperbole, but man, it's part of me, and I didn't know this. Michael Curtis mentioned he mentioned he works in archiving. Like, totally blew my mind when he mentioned that. Part of his like background is as an archivist, I think, is what he mentioned, which was some of these guys I don't know what what they do on their day job. So if that's what Michael does, well, that kind of like okay. Well, now it kind of makes a little bit more sense. But I don't know, man. So am I kicking in? I don't know. I didn't get Lankmar, and I know that's just as a great a product. I didn't get like, what is it? The Vance's setting and the Broken Earth, whatever it's called. I didn't get in on that. I never owned the Invincible Overlord, the city-state of the Invincible Overlord. Never owned it when I was a kid. I don't know if I owned a single Judges Guild item. And let's be clear, like the original, like Senior was, to my understanding, not an asshole. So Judges Guild has not been like had this big dark gray cloud hanging over them for all this time. So yeah, I'm not going to burn my DCC book. I will still play DCC. I think it's still a great game. I think the community is still great. As long as the community doesn't get infested with shitheads. If this were 1980, nobody would know. Nobody would know. Because, they would be in their corners spewing this stuff in the dark and, it would probably be out of sight, out of mind. But it's not that way. People go on social media and spew their crap, good and bad. And it's out there for the taking. So, anyways, who do I even pose the question to the chat to see if any of you are going to back this? Like, it's a weird kind of space, right? Like, well, Sean, and some are like, dude, I'm all in. I'm all in. Joseph has settled my nerves. This is why I'm a member of your community. This is great. And much respect to Joseph for what he has built. It just, man, you build it all up and you make one slip and it just can crumble tomorrow. Like it just is. And I think that was my biggest I don't want to go to a convention and be like, "Hi, Goodman Games, how's everything going?" Awkward. Like, yeah. So anyways, RPG news. Now I could look at the chat and see what's going on. So heavy stuff. Like, I don't usually get into the weeds on these things, and there's the whole conundrum about, can you separate the art from the artist? Like, there's quite a few individuals in the hobby that, like, you just don't want that topic to come up in your Discord. And some of us are like, our emotions in the arena of that are very different, right? There's a freaking spectrum of individuals and how they feel about that and how they handle it, right? On one end is like, and sometimes the ends are like, just like they're as extreme as the other end. Like, it's like a circle, except the only difference is what they're disagreeing on, or what the hills they're dying on, and how extreme they are doesn't, like, sometimes isn't much, right? I think most of us are pretty kind of in between and understanding, like, that is not cool. That's cool. That one I'm not really sure about. And I think that's why some of you are in the chat. But there are some people, man, you get out the pitchforks and torches, man, and you do whatever it takes to bring down said company, said person. And I will say this, right? And one of the things Joseph mentioned, and I think in this statement, was like something. Let me see if I want to make sure I don't misquote. Okay, it's not in there, so I'm not going to say it. But there was just, and maybe it's not. Oh, wait a minute. Here's this. No. Did he just post this? No, that's February. Yeah. So this is the statement of the original kind of shtick and thing from February of 2020, where they are like, "Hey, man, and will not profit from Judges Guild Deluxe Collector's Edition Volume 2, focused on the works of Janelle Jacquet. They'll match 20% of the proceeds of this title with donations, 10% of the Anti-Defamation League, and 10% to GLAAD, GLAAD. That the funds that would have been used for Judges Guild licensing fee will be included in this donation as requested by Bob Bledsaw Jr. After this final volume, we have no plans to release future Judges Guild titles." And they go on, "We are deeply saddened and frankly horrified by the views exposed by Bob Bledsaw Jr." And they left it out there. They could have totally removed this, but they didn't. And I think that's saying something. Yeah. So anyways, it is what it is. It's going to be crowdfunded. How big it becomes, like, there's people that commented on the YouTube video like, "Oh, I'm so glad you're doing this. This needs to see the light of day." And I'm like, man, nostalgia, dudes. We just, woof, man. Is the chat broken out in a riot and I haven't watched and looked? Is this the deal? Like, am I missing something? Yeah, like, he may have nothing to gain, but I fear he has a lot to lose. Yeah, that would be my fear. especially if you're like, well, I'm going to take a lot of the money and make the backers from the previous campaign whole. I mean, it's not a money grab. I think we can honestly say that there's no money grab here. But dude, like, and I don't know if I showed you that. This is the statement. I didn't, as I was reading it. Anyways, I don't know how far back I can go in the chat, but we'll see. Anyways, I think this will be a net loss for Goodman. I don't know. Can we get a link to the videos? I want to make sure I hear all this from the original source. Frickin' A, you should. Yes, let me provide that to you. So here is, this is not it. Let me see, latest news. Let me get you the right place. This was launched May 9th, yesterday. So here's the deal. Like here's the link. Check it out. I seriously, I'll say this. I was like, I'm not watching this hour video. And then I did. And I think it is very worthy. And like I said, I applaud Joseph. He doesn't have to do it. We like part of this thing is where I was going, and I probably lost my train of thought, is, going back to the kids and, child labor and buying my sneakers that are made by child labor and all this other stuff. And, there's a lot of crappy things that go on in the world, and we kind of turn a blind eye at times. Some of us have very good laurels, and you're very good at standing behind those laurels. And I applaud those because it's not easy for a variety of reasons. And we as humans are flawed for sure. Many of us make mistakes. Not many of the ones that will take up pitchforks and torches may be the victims of pitchforks and torches down the road. It's a weird fucking world right now. It's just so weird. And part of this is also like, dude, do we need this more? Like, do we need this thing too? Come on, man. Like this, it's funny because somebody will say, I don't want politics in my gaming. And I get it. Like we game to get away from shit like that. And then something like this happens. And it's like, well, I didn't bring it into this. Right. And while I empathize with Joseph trying to do the right thing, and people are like, he's a good dude. I'm sure he's like very tortured about trying to make this happen. And okay. So part of me is like conflicted with like empathizing with Joseph and just going, dude, I didn't make you do this. I did, I didn't, come on now. And he admits to kind of botching the PR aspect. He knows that. He's like, I need to hire, a media person to handle this stuff. And that was my fault. And he takes full accountability, and he was very, like, I watched the video. It's very touching. I will say he didn't have to do it. He could have been like, I'm not dealing with that. I'm going back. I'm going to go through with it. And that's the deal. And if you don't like it, tough shit. Like, you don't want to buy my products? Hey, that's your choice. Vote with your dollars. That's not Joseph Goodman. That's not who he is. That's not his character. Which is great. And that's why that's why some of us love this company and the products that they put out. Like, it's not that. So I think that's the big thing, right? That's the big, like, oh man, come on, dude. Seriously. Don't kind of screw this up. Like, what are you doing? We got a good thing going on here. Look, don't hang around with that guy. And I'm not saying he's hanging around with him, but it's like, dude, seriously, this is the product you gotta put out. And Michael Curtis was very passionate about being able to work on the city state. And it has, he's from in the video, right? You can watch it. It's a staple of RPG history that needs to be shared with the masses. And the funny thing is, it's like, I don't know if the majority of 5e players are even going to give two shits about this. Maybe they will. Maybe it'll be like, hey, oh, this is great. Oh, this is super awesome. Maybe. I don't know. Like, there is a strange nostalgia in our hobby. Like, we go back to the days of rolling dice with our friends. Like, hey man, I still got my blue dice, man. I still got my blue dice. It's all right here. Right? I still got them right here. This is the first set I ever had. I still got my rule books. Every book I've ever purchased. I still play AD&D every day for like the last 40 years. It's what I do. And that's fine. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. That's not what I'm that guy too, right? I got my first set of dice right here. Yeah, PDFs are going to be limited. They have to. They have to limit them. See you, Joe. Some of you might have taken off. That's cool. Ryan says, I own Keep on the Borderlands, Barrier Peaks, and Dark Tower. It's super cool to me to see the original published adventures in blue-lined glory. And that's all right. I think this is a good point. Not to put James out there, because some of these chats, some of you guys are probably like not wanting me to highlight them, and that's okay. I'm trying to be a little discreet. But James, I think, makes a good point. And I know James has been I think I literally met James through DCC, man. It was like a probably DCC meetup at Gary Con. It was all the goofs that love that freaking game. And to his point, I think if Goodman Games' stance hadn't been so inclusive and welcoming and progressive, it wouldn't be getting this reaction. That's the thing, right? It's like your best friend doing the dumbest move. And it's like, dude, you're my friend and all, but you really effed up this time. And I think when that happens, case in point, man, I brought it up on the stream. I'm a keep it positive, right? Some people are like, oh, Sean's trying to keep it positive. What the hell is this bull crap, right? But I've also said, dude, if I fall out of line, I would hope one of you guys that know me personally can come to me and say, hey man, we got to talk, dude. You're off the rails. And I don't mean haha, chuckle, gaming and BS joke, right? Railroad. But I would hope some of you as friends of mine would come to me and say, dude, you're not, this is not cool. Yeah. So I think that's also part of the deal. And I think many of the folks that are big fans don't express it in a constructive way. They just like, I'm going to burn everything down. I'm throwing out my shit. Hey, for sale. Here's my total collection. Never again. They don't watch the video. They don't read the updates. And frankly, you know what? If that is their position, I mean, that's them. Like, who am I to say that they're wrong? And hey, you can't feel that way. Like, that is not the way to go, right? Yeah. Test Trekkie, exactly. Like, that's the big one. Like, the thing is, they, as far as I know, have not stated, yes, if we may, like, Judges Guild folks, the company, as my cats are tearing shit up. They haven't confirmed that they will donate their revenue earned off of this to a charity. Goodman Games has requested them to. That may be another update that comes. Like, hey, they've vowed to do it. They're going to agree to do it. They obviously did it a little, I guess, with the Janelle Jacquet, but I thought she might have owned some of the rights to the things, maybe not. So I didn't even like, okay, well, they did it for Janelle Jacquet's products, like Dark Tower and stuff. Didn't they own that? I don't know. That's fuzzy to me. I'm not sure. Yeah. This is Harrigan says, wasn't it 2 years ago that loathsome OSR bros were calling Goodman Games woke and trying to cancel it from other direction? I think it was. And that's the thing. Like, you get now some of these, like I mentioned, you go to the video, there's not a ton of comments on it, but there are a few. Like, dude, I'm so glad you're standing your ground against the woke people. Like, dude, what do you, like, you're going to attract some of these knuckleheads just because you're sticking it to us in their eyes. Dying Earth. Thanks, James. That's the one. Dying Earth. Vance is Dying Earth. Yeah, that was the previous one. Yeah. Hobbs says it's BS. Some of these dudes tore me down for similar shit. Yeah. The irony is not lost on this dude and the hypocrisy. And that's why I'm like, it kind of, like, it's okay. If you made a mistake and you do things to rectify it, great. Like putting out the video and the statement and really laying the things out. This is how it's going to work. Like, he's talking about showing all the books as much as he can. Like, we sold this amount of PDFs. We made this amount of money. This is where it went. Like a huge trail. And you know what? Corporations, man, they don't have to do that. They don't do that. That's why our hobby is so weird. It's so weird when it comes to things like, oh man. So not back. I'm seeing not backing. Definitely not. I don't think any of the shitheads are going to attend DCC table. It's all posturing and hot air from them. I buy DCC, MCC products and love demoing and promoting those. Pushing forward on this product makes me not want to do that. I honestly don't care about the whole OAR line. Not, yeah. And not, to be clear, not backing, but no pitchfork, right? And I think that's going to be it. I'm planning to back this. I don't agree on the situation. Is a blight on Goodman in any way. I have a few of the OARs, but I didn't get the Grimtooth. And I probably wouldn't have gotten this anyway because I just told us if I wanted a Mega City. Like, there's other options, right? Is what some people may say. I'm not burning down my books or anything, but I'm done buying stuff from them if they do this. It's all over. Like, it's all, and I say it's not all over, like it's done and finished. But the reaction, there's a lot of options that people are going to take or pass, right? They're going to throw their books away, never buy anything, stand on a mountaintop and tell everybody how crappy of a company it is. There's, all the way to, you guys are the greatest company in the world. I appreciate you doing this, and full disclosure, and I'm going to buy your products no matter what, right? It's in everything in between. It's going to be, have my book, I'll play it, but I'm not going to buy anymore. There's going to be ones that throw their stuff away. There's going to be ones that may get in on this, but not promote the company. Like, it's all over combination wise. Yeah, it's a blight. They were the ones saying we all have choices about what we do, but now they are saying they don't have a choice. I didn't know the grandson ran the failed Kickstarter. Joseph's putting a good amount of effort into keeping them out of the profits. He is, no question. And I can only go off of his word. I think he made a mistake, but I'm just glad you got this off your chest, Sean. It feels like you needed to. Well, I was online where it was like, they just don't need to do this. It was like the dumbest move since the OGL. That was what I put out as a statement. I still don't think it was the wisest decision. And somebody would say, well, what do you care? You're probably not even going to buy the product. Do I buy it and like it goes really well and then it goes to the Bledsaw but like that's the thing, like they're not going to be able to control that. And frankly, there was a comment on Blue Sky recently like, hey, if the people want it, they're going to kick in and it'll succeed. Like, that's so simple. Like, it's so, it's like, really? That's what it comes down to? Like, well, if the demand is there, I mean, hey, then it must be a thing. Oh, okay. Well, in that case, shit. If we hang Goodman Games, don't we have to talk about Chaosium, Pelgrim, Arc Dream, other publishers of Cthulhu-related works? And somebody would say, well, the argument with Lovecraft is that he's dead, so he doesn't get royalties. That is the biggest thing, right? That's the trump trump card. I don't even want to use that term. That's the card people play when it comes to Lovecraft, is that it doesn't go to Lovecraft, who is known to be a bigot, but it was a different time. It was a different time, You know what? There were people back in those times that weren't like that, believe it or not. But I agree, but that would be the argument. That's what I would say. Well, hey, the guy's dead. He's not going to profit from anything. He's not going to use it to buy a new Lambo. So, yeah, test. I see ya. Man, Rune, the slinger of Rune. It's hard to wrestle with the art versus artist question when it is clear cut, but when personal connections and other nuances are involved, it can be painful. Sorry, folks, will be faced by this. I think that's worthy to put up there. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. They got it somewhere. They came up with this decision, and people were like, I wish I would have been a fly in the wall when this was brought up. And it might have been, I don't even know if it was in the works when that Bledsaw put it out there in 2025, and they were like, we're putting out a statement, and we're not going to do any more Judges Guild stuff. And then you get into, well, then why are you doing it? It's got to be out there. It belongs in a museum, which is all of your hands. I don't know. It's just it's so hard because you're like, I want to be excited to buy a product, but I don't know. I mean, I guess maybe we can appreciate Vance being not a dickhead, or Liber not being a dickhead. I don't know. Yay, maybe those are out there, and hey, you can always get those. Yeah, Laramie says it's dead versus alive, right? Yeah. Yeah, and yeah. I'm way back. I'm way behind, but I had to look at stuff. So anyways, I'm going through the chat. If H.P. Lovecraft were to be getting royalties from all the Cthulhu and other Mythos RPGs, books, and whatnot, I would not back or buy those things that it's in the public domain so I could separate them. Yeah, that's right. For sure, Mike. Thank you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Curtis, this freaking guy. Curtis, where you been, man? Damn it. I'm mad at you, Curtis, because I don't see you often enough. Stand in amazement at the amount of hair Sean has managed to maintain. Curtis, I hope all is well, man. I hope all is well. You are missed by this guy. Just want to say. Good to see you. Yeah, my hair. Okay. Something, hey, when all else fails, talking about my hair. I'm scrolling. Oh, you guys get on the hair kick. Okay. Sean, being part of being a positive is being accountable. Yeah. Hey, Matt. Good to see you. Matt Catron. Yeah, I see you, Kristen. Yeah. That's the thing. That's the only thing. This thing would blow up if we knew that wasn't going to happen. If this wasn't going to go to a Holocaust denier. Like, dude, the world is effed up as it is. It's been like over 60, what are we at? 70 years? God, I was at the 50th anniversary of Normandy. I was at the 50th anniversary. Like, we put on drilling ceremonies all over Europe during that event. Back in, what was it, 95, right? I mean, 94-ish? 94? 95? I don't remember. Whatever. 94. I was over there. And, like, can we move forward? And these things don't help us move forward past this crap. Like, it's just, I'm not a marginalized person. I'm not a minority. The chances of me getting pulled over randomly is significantly less than others. That's kind of what sucks, is like, why can we, why just anything else? Like, man, we need to squash this shit. Dude, people talk about punching Nazis, man. Sometimes it's kind of like, I have to admit, at times I'm like, it's not over the top. Like, if you're not punching Nazis, then you're an empathizer or a sympathizer, and that's not the case. Some people are just more vocal about it, but I think we can all agree it's shitty and it's an atrocity, and it can't ever happen again in our lifetime. But they'll say, like, history is, will repeat itself, but hope reigns eternal, I guess. That's what probably makes this the hardest thing, is like, if you're not going to put your stake in the ground, especially something, I mean, when I look at something like this, I'm kind of like, really? Is this kind of silly? Like, what? Like, really? It's gotta, dude. If you don't know what the banana bread dude is, check out Banana Dude. Banana at work dude. Banana bread at work dude. Dude? I just feel like that meme is like, dude, does this have to be done right now, dude? Oh, man. Anyways, it's a little over, but still kind of on time. Well, this is another thing. Chris, I don't know if I won't put this out there, but this was the other thing. You're right. Kristen points it out there. I'm calling out people. I apologize, but it's in the chat. So, but paying the debts, right? Like, somebody made money off of a failed crowdfunding campaign. And Joseph's like, you know what? They're assholes. I'm going to make you whole. Like, hey, I know my friend is I won't say that. I know this person is a dickhead. I can't do anything about that. They got your money, but I'm going to pay you. Like, dude, the road to hell is paved with good intention. But going to pay, like, it's paying their debt, right? Like, now they can, it's not like you're, crowdfunding, it's like you can't sue them to get your money back. You could have them bottle up that anger, like Aaron in the chat, right? He was a victim of that first crowdfunding campaign. Like, what? Like paying their debt? Well, I don't know those guys anymore. You know why? Joseph paid them. This is gonna end. This stream will end. I'm gonna tell you. I don't know on what kind of note, but oh God. Oh man. I'm going through. It's a personal decision, and wherever you lie, it's your personal decision. It's like, I'm not going to encourage you to do one thing or the other, and I'm not going to pass judgment. You want to get in on this? It's going to be a great product. Joseph's going to do whatever it takes to like keep money out of their hands, but he's limited. He's going to be limited. If it goes completely and utterly bonkers, they will see revenue from it. That I think is not to be disputed. Is he trying to do whatever he can to prevent that? Yes. And I sincerely believe that. Like Joseph is not, he's not talking trash or not going to be a man of his word about that. Oh man, appreciate the work Sean's putting in to be a positive force in gaming today. He's really killing it. Text is so hard to interpret. I don't know if that is indeed. I know Kristen, so I know he's being sincere. I at least think he is, but I don't know. It's oh yeah. Oh, I'm scrolling. Drop for today. Aaron's taking off sick. Thanks, Aaron. Thanks for all the be a positive force. Appreciate it. Good to see you, buddy. Take care. I think I'm at the end. But it is something I wanted to address. I'm gonna talk about Brett's topic. Brett proposed this topic. Yes, it will be a great discussion. And then at the 11th hour, I'm like, no, I gotta talk about this. It is a big deal. It's getting news, and it's not. It's not clickbait. That's not what I wanted to do, and I wanted to express my thoughts beyond just blue sky posts. And if somebody from Goodman Games sees this and watches this, I am probably not alone in some of the things that I'm spewing forth out of my mouth. And I hope that those individuals understand some of the things that I brought up today. Again, they may not want to talk to me after this, and that's okay because maybe they feel scorned and I'm not represented. Dude, we don't need your rhetoric too, Sean. We're dealing with all the rest of the internet. We don't need you to pile on as well. And that's a fair statement, but I also want them to understand where some people that, like some of you that talk about this on Discord channels and things of that nature and come into this chat and do have things to say, but you guys don't, you don't YouTube or you don't podcast or you don't have a blog or whatever the case is. So I don't think I'm alone. And I don't think everybody, I also want them to know that like, it's not all pitchforks and torches. Like I don't want to see Goodman Games burned to the ground. Of course not. Do I want them to have a successful crowdfunding campaign? Kinda in like all of them prior to this. Absolutely. This one, I'm not sure because the more successful it is, the more potential the money has to go to Bledsaw, but I don't want any ill will towards some of the staff that gets paid by Joseph and all that stuff like that. Of course not. You know what? And frankly, maybe I've been eyeing Lankmar for a while, the box set. Maybe I'll just be like, you know what? I will contribute to your company and buy a DCC product, which I think we can all maybe agree on, depending on where you're sitting in this whole spectrum thing, right? Some of you are like, man, screw them. I'm not going to buy another single thing from them. But maybe I'll go and buy something that will benefit the company to continue to do good stuff and not have to contribute to this other person. So yeah, if you want to give this freaking video and stream a freaking thumbs down, fine. I can't control what you're going to do or not. And if you're going to give it a thumbs up, well then just freaking do it, alrighty? Next week, for sure. Brett's topic next week. So I think I'm going to wrap this up. Shambot says, I would not have known about this if it weren't for the amazing community on the Discord. Thanks for bringing this to light. And that's the thing too. Like just, part of it is education. It's not like oh, wait a minute, they're going to do a Kickstarter for a Nazi and then they're just going to pay them and they're in league with the Nazi. It's not that. There's more nuance to it, which I think is something worthy of conversation. That's probably one of the biggest problems, is that people are just like, oh, man, forget it, dude. And if that is how you're going to be, say la vie. But, and some will say, Sean, just you talking about this is too much. Give me another platform. Well, what are you going to do? Got to scoot? See you, Michael. Yeah, there we go. Andy Hall, good to see you, man. Thanks, buddy. All right, so there you go. That's all I have to say about it. If you if you go on the Discord and you say, you know what, I'm going to kick in, and you say, no, I'm not, and you say, hey, I'm going to burn all my Goodman Games books, like, okay, like, no judgment. It's a weird dynamic. There are nuances, Will it fund? Probably. Because there's going to be tons of people that don't know the controversy. They're just going to see it. They're going to put it out. They didn't go to the website. See, State of Overlord, Invincible Overlord. I've been waiting for that thing for 20, 30, 40, 50 years, man. I'm totally in. And they won't give a shit, and that's fine. And some will do it out of knowing, and some will do it out of complete sheer ignorance. And, I could say that Joseph is making good faith efforts to do the right thing. I don't think that I would argue contrary to that. Not after watching that video. And I don't, even before that, I'm sure, like, that's the big perplexing thing about it, was like, wait a minute. This is the same company with all the people that I know that are really great, and DCC is such a great community. Like, what is going on here? What, honey, what? So anyways, thank you to everybody here that has supported me. I appreciate it over the time, the patrons and YouTube members. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Thank you for chiming in. I really, really appreciate all of you. And, there you go. There you go. There's a deeper conversation here for sure, but this one was certainly a perplexing one, because sometimes it gets a little muddled sometimes. And, we're not all perfect. Some people, we make mistakes, and sometimes it comes down to how we handle those. And Joseph's not a bad dude. Nobody's has said he's a bad. I have not. I don't think he's. I've never thought Joseph is a bad guy. I just thought it was my initial reaction was dumb move, just dumb. Do I still think it's dumb? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. He also has to pay the bills. So there you go. Leave with that. And if you like this, check out these other 2 videos for me here on this channel. Be a positive force in the tabletop RPG hobby. Go play some games, and until next week, we'll see you on the next one. See ya.